I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
A big shout out to everybody in Riverside. And as a kid, I always wanted to meet Don King. But now I think Don King's a fucking asshole. He's a racist.
No. We're not going down that road.
None bigger than this. Maybe the biggest upset of this decade.
Dile que ese estilo es un fuck you, dile, porque él viendo la pelea.
Welcome everybody to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, we're going to keep this nice, cool, and short. At least I'm going to try to, because I've been going over 30 minutes, and I think that's a bit more time that I want to take from, again, you guys' time. Again, this is episode, what episode is this? This is episode 65 of the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Remember, guys, little by little, we're going to try to migrate this to YouTube. So if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, make sure you guys do. Got maybe about 7 followers, so let's make sure we get to 1,000 before the end of the year. That way we can start doing live shows and whatnot. So you can follow me on YouTube at Mr. Boxing Guru. Again, of course, on social media, whether it's on Twitter at Mr. Boxing Guru, on Instagram at Mr. Boxing Guru. Guys, let's get to it right away. We have some stuff to talk about, some repetitive stuff, I guess you could say. But nonetheless, we got stuff to talk about. Most importantly, my favorite part of this has been answering folks' questions. You know, whether it's boxing related or not. I kind of like it. You guys are telling me that you guys like it. So we'll do that at the very end of the show. First things first, it looks like Canelo still does not have a dance partner. It looks like Caleb Plant at the end of the day. The fight did stop. No movement on it from Caleb or from Heyman and friends, and it's kind of a bummer because look, you guys know by listening to me, I'm not Canelo's biggest fan, but again, we have to understand where Canelo's coming from in this, you know, time in his career, I guess you could say. I read somewhere where, you know, Caleb Plant, you know, stated, you know, the reasons why or what they did to bend backwards for Canelo. And you know, it almost seems very dismissive, you know, of what was going on. They said they let Canelo keep his TV rights, which of course Canelo's Canelo, so he's going to keep that. They gave Canelo's biggest payday, which was, I believe it was north of 50 million. Again, speculating here, something like that. They gave him upsides of pay-per-view, or they supposedly, according to Caleb Plant and friends, they gave Canelo the best opportunity of a lifetime, or the biggest opportunity of a lifetime. Canelo, of course, you know, wanted a couple of clauses, you know, and I hate to talk about the A side and B side. Honestly, I don't even like talking about negotiations because, one, it's none of my business, not our expertise. That's why there's experts for that. I really just like knowing when the fight's going to happen and, you know, what time should I call everybody for the carne asada. Again, it seems like lately all we get from boxing is a class in negotiating and why this platform is better than the other. What I didn't hear, and it almost, and you have to give Canelo credit because a little classier on there, and for not, you know, telling or talking about, you know, the negotiations, you know. But what I didn't really hear is because from my understanding, what did Canelo and Eddie Hearn offer? You know, to me, at least in my opinion, I mean, I don't know how you guys see it, but I would have rather it been the other way around, where, again, I don't care what they offer Caleb Plant, but I mean, the fight being on the zone, where I don't have to do anything else but just turn on my TV. It's already paid for. It's you know, we got the year subscription, you know, and that's just another fight I get. I don't. If anything, I see Canelo kind of bending a little because now he's gonna leave his. He's gonna leave what has been his home for the last few years, which is the Zone, and try to make a pay-per-view. That means you got to try to sell an event at this point, and you have media obligations, and that you don't when you come from a app. So you don't have to try to sell the fight. You're just going to show up and get your money, and that's it. You still do publicity, but it's not as bad as when you do a pay-per-view fight. Again, I just don't get it. I don't get why folks would want that instead of the other way around, or why does Canelo have to go that route? In my opinion, again, it was just a pissing contest. It was Canelo wanting to be undisputed. Again, it's nice, it's fun. It'll go on history as he was the man that beat the man, and he fought the man that beat the man. But we all know that Caleb Plant is probably the softest touch out there for Canelo. Even on the PBC side, you got the heavier Charlo of the bunch. You got Benavidez that I think it'll be a much better fight. The only good thing that's going on for Plant is that he has a belt. So kind of reminds me of when Amir Khan or not Amir Khan, I'm sorry, but Paulie Malignaggi would have a belt at the welterweight division or even at junior welterweight, where all the fighters would just salivate over fighting Malignaggi. Why? Because that was free food. That was the easy fighter to beat, with the exception of Juan Diaz. But that's how I feel that Canelo felt about Plant. It was a great way to make history with little to no risk, because we know that Caleb, this little swag fighter, you call him what you want, he's smooth as hell, but he can't hurt you. And when you're fighting a fighter that's equally as defensive minded like Canelo is, I don't think there wasn't going to be much of a fight. Now the question for Canelo is, what does he do from here? Where does he go? It looks like the front runner is Bivol. Bivol, we all saw him at 168. And he has moved to 175 now, where it gets complicated and you almost put a question mark on things if Canelo were to fight Bivol, and if he were to beat Bivol, is at what weight? Obviously, Bivol is a big guy for 168. He moved up from 168 to 175 for a reason. Now, is he already in training camp? I don't know. Is it worth going to training camp? I don't know. Is he going to be at 175? What I think would be a bit more helpful for Bivol, instead of having to drain him back down at a weight division that he had already outweighed 2 years ago. So we don't know. But in my opinion, it's a better fight. It's on the Zone, which is good for us. That means we don't have to stream it. But I like that fight a little better. I think it's harder on Canelo. It's not going to be Canelo looking for that wounded deer like he has versus all the Europeans he's fought lately. And I think that's eventually what would happen with Caleb Plant. I think Bivol is going to present a lot more difficulties when it comes to trying to catch and corner him. I think he's a more well-rounded fighter than most people even think of. So, and I wouldn't be surprised at an upset from Bivol. Of course, unless the judges fuck him over. But again, that's a whole another podcast. Okay, let's jump ship out of the whole Canelo gate here. Let's go to a fight that I think Mike Hoppinger said it was pretty much signed and done, which is Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson. Good fight. I didn't want the fight personally for Jamel. I think Jamel should be looking for legacy fights and fighting other fighters that are in his level, like the Oscar Valdez's. I don't think it's. I don't like what Shakur has done to deserve a title shot like this. Where's a veteran now, I guess you could say, in Jamel. Jamel's, done what he had to do. He's taken his losses. He's the ultimate Cinderella story. He's done great for himself. and I would hate for him to lose his belt versus a house guy too, because I mean technically Stevenson is a house guy. He's an Olympian guy. Again, I would hate for him to lose his belt to Stevenson in a very, very boring fight, because I think that's what Stevenson's going to do. I mean, if you look at his last 2-3 fights, they've been very dull, very boring. I don't get him. I get it. He's a great fighter. I just don't get the fascination with seeing him fight. There's a lot of fighters that are amazing, Cubans in particular, and I don't care to watch them fight. They could be beautiful fighters. They could hit and not get hit, but it's just not something that I personally, me as a boxing fan, I pay to see. I get it. You know, boxing is beautiful, and it's the art of not getting hit and doing damage yourself. But when most of the time all you're doing is pitter-patting, I don't care to see it. I don't want to see it, and I'm not a fan of watching Stevenson on my TV. So if that fight is done good, I really hope Jamel finds it in himself to beat him. Does he have the tools to beat him? Absolutely. Does he have the corner? Absolutely. It's only of a matter of Jamel putting everything together and getting it done. Do I believe in him? Fuck yes, I think he could do it. So let's move on from that. The Manny Pacquiao undercard, it looks like it's shaping up, or kind of, or at least the names have been out now. And Ugas versus Little Maidana. I like this fight for Ugas. I don't like this fight for Maidana, but I think it's going to be as good as it's going to be another version of when Ugas fought the little kid that's like that likes bachata from Texas. One of the Figueroa, the drunk Figueroa. It's going to be the same exact version of that. Ugas is one of those exceptions you have to the Cuban style. He's very likable, very fan friendly. I like him. I enjoy watching him. So I'm looking forward to this undercard. This card is low key taking great shape, and it looks like it's the fight of the summer. The card of the summer. This what is Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. You got Errol Spence at the main event. You got Ugas versus Little Maidana. The one that tripped me out, and it seemed like a Chola's throwback Thursday, was learning that Robert Guerrero is fighting Victor Ortiz. It's like if you threw every stereotype of a Yono Sabo kid and put it in the ring. This is it. If you guys don't know what a Yono Sabo kid is it's like a second generation Mexican kid that you ask him something in Spanish and he says plain simple Yono Sabo. That's what Robert Guerrero and Victor Ortiz are. If you guys remember Robert Guerrero, you know when his dad was trying to get all the Hispanic supporter, he kept screaming, "Hey, Jones, let me get all the Hispanicos over here, eh?" So it's like an old Cholo Yono Sabo. Cholo, and then you got Victor Ortiz. That's just he's got to be about the dumbest human being that's out there. So it's a recipe for laughter. It's a recipe for disaster. I don't know how to. I want to laugh because it's pretty fucking funny that these guys are fighting each other, but at the same time it's pretty fucking sad because they're way past their prime. They're way past relevance. And what if they beat each other? What do they do from here? There's a fight for Victor Ortiz that's been out there for many years, and he never ever wanted to do it. I don't get it. It's been many years, and it's a fight that would have got him a lot of money. And that's Victor Ortiz versus Bam Bam Rios, Brandon Bam Bam Rios. That fight, Victor Ortiz versus Bam Bam Rios could be that thriller fucking type of fight. I don't get why it's never happened. I guess there's some personal stuff out there, but shit, make you guys' money. That's the type of circus fight. On the undercard, I guess, you try to get the Mexican-American fan, but I just don't get it. Robert Guerrero versus Victor Ortiz. Chalk walk, Yono Sabos. Anyways, so let's get to it. What else do we have here? I think that's pretty much it. This fight, this week and actually tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, we got fights on Thriller. Yeah, Thriller via some weird app. So, but Michael Hunter versus Mike Wilson. I think it's a heavyweight eliminator for the WBA. Also, we got the Avocado Man, Chris Algieri versus Michael Lespierre. And again, another 10-round welterweight fight. Again, what the fuck is up with all these older dudes trying to make a comeback? It doesn't make sense. Let the young guys, take advantage of everything. Again, Chris Algieri, is this somebody you really want to see pay attention to? I don't know. Not me. I'm good. Now to the I guess moment I've been waiting for. I gotta look for you guys' questions. Again, I did post on my Instagram, and a lot of times I try to keep. I save folks' names, but sometimes I don't because it comes with these questions. Sometimes get a little offensive, and I wouldn't want them to get back to you. I'll talk about them, but I won't necessarily say who said it. So let's take a look here. First things first, we got Carnitas Meets 626, and that's on Instagram. That's at Carnitas Meets 626, and that's Carnitas with a K. Arnold will win next fight. Who would he fight next? So he means Arnold by Arnold Barboza, local kid from El Monte. Look, I think Arnold Barboza is at the point where there's no return. He needs to stop. He needs to start fighting top 10 guys. This is it. He is at that level. He has the ability to fight top 10 guys. Who would he face? There's a guy that he's been chasing around for many, many years, and that's Ramirez from RGBA from up north. I think him and Ramirez would make an explosive fight at 140. And if not, why not Taylor? Why not a fight for Taylor? I think both of those guys are big enough to where they might need to move up in weight, but if they want to stay at 140, I think Barboza needs to. It's a good opportunity for Barboza to fight a big name, or honestly for Barboza, if these guys are not going to stay here at 140, it's time for Barboza to fight for an eliminator or fight for some sort of belt. Barboza at 140 is a force to be reckoned with. Two fights that I would like to see him is versus Ramirez, Taylor, and another one actually. If Teofimo ends up going up in weight, I'm all for it. And then we got again on Instagram, we got Pilt_P. Again, another Barboza got some fans up in here. Is Arnold the best option for Taylor, being that he's undefeated? Again, I love that fight. I love that fight versus Taylor. I think, from my understanding, the plan is if they're supposed to do some sort of homecoming for Josh Taylor, and then Josh Taylor, with the frame he has, I'm sure he's killing himself to make 140. Then he would make a run for 147. That's if Crawford stays at 147 and maybe fight Crawford. Would he do it? Who knows? I hope so. Let's see. Again, on Instagram, it says at Kiko Valdera says, ¿puedes jugar boxeo? Yo sí puedo jugar boxeo. Me encanta jugar boxeo. This is what I do all day. I troll people. We joke and whatnot. That's the great thing about the following that I have, or in the people, of course, I follow. It's not a one-way street. That's what we do. Of course, Kiko, more than anything, makes a reference to the viejito, the old man from No Puedes Jugar Boxeo. If you guys don't know him, I'm sure you guys seen him around chasing people for interviews, like one of those lawyer ambulance chasers. So that is him. And Artie says something about ¿cuántos muertos lleva la ambulancia? I think he's referring to CG Boxing. J_Montes 1904 asks, would Tank versus Mikey Garcia ever happen? I don't want to say never, but I don't see Mikey risking it anymore. I think he risked it versus Spence, and that didn't work out very well. The only thing here is that, I think Mikey's at the point where he wants to see the money, and he'll be down. I think a guy like Gervonta with the type of talent that Gervonta is, the type of money that he's now generating. Because I know we like to knock on him or not, but he's a hot sell in his hometown, and Mikey could sell tickets too. So I could see them fighting. Who would win? I mean, I don't know, man. Mikey's hard to bet against, especially when he's fighting guys his own size. So who knows? Let's see. Los_Angelos. Why did El Tri lose to the USAD squad? Look, one thing, I don't know shit about soccer. I don't plan to know shit about soccer, but I will, give it a good go when it comes to a good throw. So yesterday, Sunday night, there was a soccer game, and apparently it was pretty much the bench warming team for the U.S. And they played against Mexico. Pretty boring game. Again, that's what I don't like. I'm sorry, that's what I don't like soccer. It's a very dull game for people that don't know about soccer. So to me, it was a very dull game. I think it went up to extra time and nobody scored, and then finally somebody scored, and then the fucking thing was over, and the U.S. won. I think the whole why it's funny is because the USA is relatively new to soccer. We got to understand soccer was treated in the US as the type of sport that at the end of the season everybody got a fucking trophy. Draws were okay. So it's kind of laughable from the historical, I guess, aspect of how we've always treated soccer as a participation sport. We know it's not. It's I get it. It's worldwide sport, but people like me, I just don't care for it. Let's see. Vargas Sigi says something about don't quit my day job, bro. I'm not gonna quit you like diabetes doesn't quit you. So chill. Robert Garcia Jr. asks why hasn't Adidas sent me gear? I got you, bro. Let's see. Chef Lopez, what round do you think Pac-Man quits? Come on, man. Look, here's the thing with you fucking millennials. Pacquiao, when have you ever seen Pacquiao quit? When have you ever seen Pacquiao not enjoy what he's doing? Shit, even when he got knocked the fuck out by Marquez, Pacquiao just turned around, came back, smiled after, he had woken up and moved on. That's no difference to Pacquiao's ability against a guy like Spence. So don't count him out. Look, I think more than anything, instead of trying to say, "Oh, I bet this guy's gonna win. I bet that guy's gonna win," just sit back and enjoy him. You're not gonna see this old man for many fights, and we are lucky that we're even able to see a guy like Pacquiao still fighting. It's not normal. He's one of those fighters that comes once every 100 years, and everything that Pacquiao did. And again, this is coming from a guy that hated Pacquiao for many years after him beating De La Hoya. I never just sat back and appreciated everything that Pacquiao was, the way he was able to move up in weight divisions. Again, we talk all about drugs and steroids, but the truth is that nobody ever saw him take anything. He was able to go up in weight and take his power with him. Not only take his power, but look ridiculously explosive going up in weight. So for us to think that Pacquiao will quit, I think it's a bit disrespectful. Look, man, he went up in weight and fought the Diaz guy, and he went up in weight and fought Hatton. Again, Hatton wasn't the greatest fighter, but again, look how he beat Hatton. That's the thing, like from him and Floyd, how did he beat him? Look what he did to De La Hoya. That's just impressive. Look what he did to Margarito. He ruined Margarito's fucking face. He ruined Cotto. He stood there right in front of Cotto and just beat the living shit out of Cotto. That's fucking impressive. And to think he's gonna fucking quit. He fucking gave Marquez 3 fucking or 4 chances to redeem himself till he finally did. That's the type of fighter. Nah, shut up, Winston. That's the type of fighter that Marquez is. a once every 100 years type of fighter, or maybe even 50 years. I'll give you that. We have to enjoy them. We have to understand that fighters like that don't come very often, and the fact that we get to see him. Look, even if he loses, I think even if he loses, for most people that saw him fight the Barreras, the Morales, the Marquezes at the very young age again, and towards the later part when he started, blowing up in weight, the Cottos, De La Hoyas, Margaritos, just to see him fight the new generation guys that could be those guys as kids. It's fucking impressive. And again, even if he does get beat, so fucking what? I don't care. As long as the old man gets to go home safe, I'll be happy with it. Juice_go asks, why so many people? You see, this is the type of questions I love. Why so many people now like the third generation Camaros? Third gen Camaro. Look, I like Camaros. I can't fit in them. I've always been more of a Monte Carlo fan, from those generations. But the reason why a lot of people are getting them is because they have so much room in the hood that you could practically put a new motor and fucking 500-600 horsepower and fucking fly in those cars. There were beautiful cars back then. There are beautiful cars now. The only problem that I see is maybe finding parts. Those cars did rattle a lot, so they were a bit annoying for me. Guys, again, this is it. Thank you again for listening to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. Please do not forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, but more importantly on YouTube. I need to get those followers up there. Again, there's about 7 followers, I think 8 last time I checked, so we really need to get them up there. I know you guys listen because I see the numbers. I don't like seeing the numbers, but I see the numbers. Oh, speaking of numbers, big shout out to everybody that listens here. One, I see that folks listen here in the U.S. I think that's fucking awesome. I think 92% of the audience is from the U.S. So again, big shout out to all you guys out there. But I was looking at the statistics the other day. As a matter of fact, let me go and click on it. And I was seeing, okay, so 92% of the folks that listen to me are here in the U.S. Then you got a 12% in the UK. Big shout out to the UK. Whoever's out there listening to me, let me know. Send me a message. I'll send you something. India has about another 2%. Australia has another 2%? No, 1%. Canada, France, Taiwan. Shout out to everybody in Taiwan that listens. This is kind of cool. Look, guys, again, I did it because I wanted to help me. I don't know why I even started a podcast. I was doing a show with some other guys. Big shout out to Rodrigo Boxing Ruckus. But I wanted to do this by myself because I wanted to do it at my own time. I didn't want to commit to a certain time with everybody else. But this has been fun. I feel like I've talked to other people that not only are on the traditional social media, which is Instagram and Twitter, but other people that reach out to me. Oh, I find your podcast in blah 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 place, and I like it. Thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it. Now make yourself go to YouTube and make sure you guys subscribe, guys. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for listening to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. See you guys later.